Hello, my friends. Thanks for coming back. I'm Sean. I'm a 40-year-old dude. I used to skate a lot. And I just thought it would be fun, since I've filmed so many skate parts, if we went back and looked at all the skate parts I've filmed and I reacted to them today. Why? I don't know, because it's interesting seeing how young men grow over time and how your reactions change over time, and I just thought it would be a fun thing. So I believe this is the third installment. I was coming from Visalia, California, is where I really came up, really learning skateboarding, and really the first place I was like really becoming a skater persona and being in the skate scene and all that stuff. I had lived in Oregon as a child before I started skating, and then I went to high school there in the Central Valley in California. And at this point, it was the junior year of high school finished, and my senior year of high school, I moved up to Eugene, Oregon, which again, I had spent a lot of time in as a kid. We lived there in the early 90s, and I was returning for my senior year of high school. So before we jump in, just setting the scene of a young man's life, by the time after 3 years of high school there in Visalia, like I had my clique of skater friends. We were really popular, and I enjoyed a lot of friendship and just popularity, and I felt like really part of a social scene. So going from that, being popular with my clique of friends and having a very strong social life, and then moving up to Eugene, had no friends, new school. Like all I had was skating really. Before moving, I'd kind of just discovered like punk and metal and hardcore music and emo music and stuff. And to put it in simple terms now, looking back, I was fucking emo. Just like if you think of your stereotype of like an emo 17, 18-year-old boy, that's what I was. So there I was, emo-ass kid. I had to rejoin a whole new social scene, build a new social life. But what didn't change was how into skateboarding I was. It was the only thing that I had so much fun doing, and I was coming off of 3, 4, 5 years of skate every single day as a way of life, and that was all I knew. So I just kept it rolling up here in Eugene. I think I was 17 at the beginning of this filming, and by the end of it, probably 19 or 18 and a half or something. Some of this is like right towards the end of when I was in high school, and the first couple of years out of high school. You can see all my emo bracelets here. I had a bunch of emo rings. I got my emo swoopy haircut and my emo black dyed hair. This is also going to be the first video where I had a sponsor, was Tactics Boardshop, and today they're one of the bigger board shops online. They have a physical store too in Eugene. I think in Bend too, right? I think they have a store in Bend, Oregon. But they're a big online board retailer, and I met the owners right when they were starting, Matt and Bob. This is back like 2002, 2001, 2001 or 2002. So they were going to start a skate team. This guy here, Ian, standing back here. I think this girl, is her name Libby or Lizzie? Libby, worked at the shop, and then this guy Ian worked at the shop, and he was kind of like the team manager. And so when the owners were like, let's start a skate team, I was kind of out here making a name for myself in Eugene, just skating so hard. So for whatever reason, my name came to mind, and I was able to be on the very first Tactics skate team that they ever started. And it was like me, Mike Zito, Zach Bird, sorry if I forget who else, but those are some of the people I remember right off the bat. All through skating, I was never tripping on like, I got to get sponsors, I got to go pro. Like I was never really thinking that way. I always thought I'm going to skate my hardest, and like if sponsors come my way, that's cool. But I definitely was always thinking all along that like I need to like go to college and get a job, and that there's still going to be time to rip it and skate outside of that. So I never put all the eggs in the basket of like, I'm going to make it as a skater. But when this happened, when I did get on the first Tactics team, In the back of my mind, I definitely did have a thought, like seeing the movie play out in my head. I'm like, oh, this is how it all begins. Like, I get the shop sponsor, and then I'll get like flow for a board, and I bet like I could get amateur skater one day or something. Like, but no, I never had intentions of turning pro or anything. Actually, before I moved here in the last few months of living in Visalia, I actually did get hit up from Element about they wanted me to come out to some skate park in like SF and like meet me and watch me skate. And I can't remember, I must have been sending out sponsor me tapes or something. I don't remember how that got lined up. I think I did try to have the local skate shops in Visalia send out sponsor tapes or something. I don't know how I hooked that up, but I did talk to Element back then in the 90s. And the thing was, I couldn't get permission from my mom to basically take the time off of school and like travel by myself up to SF and do that. And I kind of thought I wasn't good enough anyways to do that. I didn't really believe in my skating enough to like go impress people and get hooked up by a company at that time. So I did actually like told them I couldn't make it out, and I was still in high school, and I couldn't leave to travel. And so that was that. And then this was about a year after that I got hooked up with the Tactics. No one else on the whole Tactics organization had any kind of video editing knowledge or skills except for me. So me and a dude from the snowboarding team kind of collaborated, where he did the snowboarding edits and I did the skate part edits. And so this video is called Tactics First Assault. I don't even know if you can find it on YouTube, because this is like still the days barely before, I don't even think, were DVDs invented? I think DVDs were barely getting started. Everything was VHS. You were still buying skate videos on VHS. So this video came out on VHS, and I had just some ghetto computer rig that was like open in my bedroom. I had like CD drives sitting on the carpet with like random cables going into this computer. And it was just scrapped together of like random parts, discount budget parts that I could find and afford. And so this was my first edit, I think, my first feature like edit. I was doing a skateboarding website called Skate Northwest, but we're going to talk about that in another video. So yeah, Tactics First Assault, probably from about 2001. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, I have to say something about the song. So Face to Face, if you're not familiar, they're like a skate punk band. Pennywise, Face to Face, The Offspring before they broke through to the mainstream. It's like skate punk. And then they came out with this album, Ignorance is Bliss. And it was a total departure from like the skate punk sound that they had before. And it was more like ballads and emo and just like emotional and ballads and clean singing. And it was a big departure. And they alienated a lot of their fan base. They're like, what the fuck is this? This isn't skate punk. And then the most ballady, most not punk song on the whole album was this last track called Maybe Next Time. And of course, like being all emo and whatever I went through at that point, I felt like the lyrics, like I super understood it and I identified with it. And so I picked this song, and now I know this is a super common mistake kids make editing their first skate parts, is like you pick what you personally find cool and you don't put any thought into like, how are other people going to react to this? Or like, what mood is this going to create for someone who's like unfamiliar to all of this? Like, what vibe is this creating on the video? Like, those kind of thoughts didn't cross my mind at age 17, 18. I was just like, man, this song is so emotional and powerful, and I identify with it. And it's like they have these skate punk credentials, but then it's like off in left field. It's like this song people wouldn't have known about, and that's going to make me like really cool because I'm like discovering something edgy, and I'm going to put that in. And I know it's different from what most people would use, but I want to be different. Like I want to stand out. I want to be unique and stuff. So that's why I chose it. And now watching it, like I never heard from anyone who was like, that was a great song you chose on here. Like I heard from a lot of people The song's gay, the song's whack, like, song's so stupid. I heard that a lot, and now I totally get it. It's like the music is everything when you're choosing a skate part. Like, I've edited so many skate parts now. I know a lot about how to play the game of making skate edits, and it all starts first and foremost with like, what vibe are you trying to create? What's the energy of the skating, and what kind of vibe do you want to give people watching it? And so if this one's like a bleeding heart, like pouring your heart out, like emotional, self-reflective kind of thing, like, the truth is most people who are trying to watch a skate video are not trying to experience that kind of vibe. So that's just a little note about the song. Lesson going out to all the kids: don't just pick what your personal favorite song is. Take a moment, step back, think about every type of person in the world who might watch this for all of history, for decades and decades after that. And what kind of feeling do you want them to have watching it? Whatever your specific, like, far out art taste is, like, most people are not going to share that. So you need to think long term and about the vibe and about what other people can get down with you. So without further ado, let's jump in and break it down. All right, that was my high school, South Eugene High School. That used to be a spot. South Eugene High School, for years, I mean, still to this day, I think people have sessions there and meet up, but there was this time around the 90s and 2000s. Same thing here. You could roll up any given night at South Eugene High School hallways here, because it's always raining in Eugene. So this is like a rare lit and dry and smooth spot. So like 40 skaters would be here, often like Silas Baxter Neal and other really good skaters would show up here. And any given night of the week, you could just be at this crazy session. I did this switch nose grind. I just learned it here on the spot. I think that was like the first switch nose grind I ever did in my life. And I thought it was really good that it was on a rail. And I was with my friend Jimmy, who doesn't skate, and he was BMXing. And I wanted to film it so bad. I didn't know if I could get it other days. And I asked him to ride like 5 miles or ride his bike like a few miles back to our apartment and get the video camera just so I could get this one clip. So thanks, Jimmy. Shout out to Jimmy for that. And then here, shout out to Sam. I reconnected with him in recent years online, but this really cool dude, Sam, this is across the street from his house at the time. And I think that was his rail. And I had these, I was just like, I couldn't miss on front blunts back in those days. I did this front blunt shove, and that was easy. That was easy for me. Got the studded belt. Anyways, sketchy, moving my feet around. So that's one thing I kind of regret is I never had the concept of like cleaning up a trick on video. I was really obsessed with like authenticity. And I thought if you tried over and over to get the cleanest version of your trick, I thought that that was like inauthentic, and that I thought that skate videos, it was about just capturing the real authentic life you were living and the real authentic way you landed the trick. And I bought into that so much that I wouldn't even like refilm tricks if they were sketchy. That's kind of the one thing, if I could go back and like give myself a lesson, I would like sit myself down as a young skater and like teach that hard lesson. Like, dude, that was sketchy as fuck. Like, you gotta do it right. Like, you're going to the effort to make this video, like, you gotta do it right. There, I just learned frontside feebles. That was a trick I later broke my face on. Switch front boards, just learned those. Switch front nose, just learned those. This spot's not here anymore. In the early 90s, this is Broadway Street in Eugene, and they used to have all these different configurations of the street. First, they had it closed off, and they had this epic old like fountain, and it was all just like a promenade walking spot, and it was actually like really cool. But they were like concerned of like the hippies like smoking weed or doing drugs or something, so they turned it back into a street, and then that just like made it even worse. And a bunch of failed businesses all along the street. Then they I think they had this park here, and then they even redid this. This ledge isn't here anymore. They changed this stuff around. So Springfield, Oregon, right there. 7 stair, that doesn't exist anymore. That was my first kinked handrail, double set handrail. My girlfriend used to live in those apartments across the street, and tray flip into the bank. Big old backside flip. That wasn't a line. It wasn't just to edit. I did do it together. I was really into graffiti more so in the younger years in California. Look at the height on that. Look at me go, guys. Look at me go. 4 feet up there, backside flipping, landing it clean. I was really into graffiti, and one day when I was bored, I was like, I gotta step it up. Like, I need to go bomb something big. I'd never done a wall piece. I had only ever done like tags, like gang tags. And so there's this train tunnel where this wasn't facing any traffic or anything. You have to go way out of your way to get to here. It's not really impacting anybody's property or anything. And so I went out probably like 2 or 3, I think like 2 nights with a backpack full of spray paint, and I painted this. I didn't know what I was painting while I did it. I just like started, and I just wanted to do a wall piece. That was all. I'm like, oh, I just want to do a wall piece. I want to do some kind of mural. And so there's like, I picked up these leaves. There's like some leaf stencils, and just turned into like this angel emo girl with wings, just the most emo stereotype thing you could do, and some kind of robes. Yeah, I didn't know what I was making while I did it. I just literally like start putting paint on the wall. I'm like, oh, let's be a chick. How about like an angel and like the halo? And didn't even know, no clue. So that was my first and only wall bomb I've ever done. I never did another one. Holt Center, made a big kicker ramp, middle of the night. It was probably like 1 a.m. Switch heel, was just learning those. Post office, this was a spot no one ever knew about and skated, but I lived downtown at the time. I had a bondage belt. I think I made that belt myself with leather working tools. No one ever knew about this behind the trucks here, but is the covered and lit spot with smooth ground, and you could pull these trash cans out. And it's like you think you would get extra busted there, but I never got busted here. Nose slide, only nose slide I've ever filmed. This I was really proud of, downtown Eugene. It's a funeral home, and it's like carpeted on top. And I always was like, I know I can front board that. And it was hard running up with carpet, but I did that shit. Nollie tail big spin. Back 180. I was like going through a breakup at this time with a girl. And I was on that suicidal type of skating. Not actual suicidal, but like reckless. You're like, I don't give a fuck. It's like 18-foot backside 180. It's bigger than it looks on the footage. There's no way I could do anything like that today. 3 trash cans on a bike plus a 6-foot gap. Did it. This is one of my favorite lines to this day. I just like how it all flowed together and how I end up turning around. Tail to fakie, half cab blunt. Made a cool sound on the bricks. Big old Shopko gap. You had to have your friends stand out in the street. It's a really busy street in Eugene, and people just like come tearing into here. So you had to have your friends all on the lookout and hold up traffic. And then it was really sketchy. You had to just like sprint at it. This is a big gap. And give it a go and trying to not get hit by a car. One more look at that. Big old gap. Only like a couple people had ever ollied that. Like Silas and me, and I don't know who else. Maybe just Silas and me, honestly, that ollied it. This ditch. Little kickflip pivot. Repping the Skate Northwest shirt. Blunt fakie. Switch heel. Clean. I was like blown away at myself in the footage. I'm like, oh my God. Because I landed it clean. Crazy nollie heel over the thing. Switch nose slide. Valley River Center. This clip was awesome. This table was like just a rickety folding table. And you can see how bad the camera quality was. This was after like boosting all the brightness in post and stuff. But I did like an ollie out over to back tail and then to fakie. You can't even see it. It's in the middle of U of O. Nollie nose. Tail slide Manny. Cab back 5-0. This clip, I always love this clip. You can see my homie Jimmy right there. Again, filming. He filmed a lot of these clips. Shout out to Jimmy. He's the man. This is at the Wow Hall, which is like a legendary concert hall in the middle of downtown Eugene. And our apartment was like a block, not even a block from this, right in downtown Eugene. And we were just kind of wild Gen X kids BMXing and skating every single day, just in the middle of the night, doing whatever we wanted, lurking in downtown Eugene. And I like this clip because it's not even a spot. You got to just quickly ollie on there, and then there's this big crack between these cellar doors, and you got to not hit the lock. And then the moment you get on, you got to pop off. And somehow I did that. I don't know how I did that. Post office again, the same kind of thing. We'd always come down here at like midnight, just a couple blocks from our apartment. Another switch nose grind. Big old tail slide over the gap. I got a tactics ad, feebling this rail. It's really hard to skate. It's kind of high. Set up this big ass fridge down this loading dock in Springfield. And then I was skating with Aaron Louris this day, and he fucked up his ankle on this. But I got clips. It like took him out for a while. Albany, hard flip. This is Corvallis, Oregon, tray flip fakie, switch blunt. First time I ever did that, I was just like, I think I could do this. And then same thing, I was like, I think I can back nose blunt. I had never done it. And I don't know if I've ever back nose blunted again. I think that's Nick Claro, another kind of legend of Corvallis skating. I'm not sure. I got the back nose blunt. I don't even think I ever did one on transition. I've always been a street skater. I've always been trying to do flip tricks and grinds and slides and stuff. Tranny's not my thing. Got a full outfit on from Goodwill with like a moose shirt. But I did that shit. I think it was the same day Consolidated Skateboards was on a tour. And it was like 2002. All the Consolidated pros were there. I think it was the same day. And when I was getting ready to leave, like Richard Paez was there. I think he recognized me from the Visalia days. No, he definitely did. He definitely recognized me from the Visalia days. And Tactics boards, the original. That's the first ever Tactics graphic that they had. No, he definitely recognized me from the Visalia days, and he straight up invited me, maybe because I was like ripping it this day, I don't know, but he straight up invited me to like come on the rest of the tour with them, to like get in the van with them and come on tour. And I thought that was so crazy because I was like idolizing those guys, like seeing them in mags and seeing their photos in mags and growing up around them, like, and then a few years passed and I'm like ripping more and then like getting invited to go on a Consolidated tour. I was just like, my mind was blown. But I couldn't go. I had a job. I was making like $7.25 an hour at a U-Haul store to pay rent and survive on, and I couldn't just like leave my job. So that's about it. And there's so many little backstories and little random things about each of these days, but that's just some commentary I've got about it. I threw in this photo at the end. I was just getting really into photography at the time, and so I was like shooting all these emo photos of being emo, just like some deep reflective moment walking into the woods with your skateboard. And that's me. I was just trying to shoot this emo pic. Threw that in at the end. Okay, let's bring this one home, wrap this up. First of all, thank you so much, Matt and Bob. I'm not sure if as an adult I ever properly expressed how much that meant to me, that somebody believed enough in my skating and what I was doing to like give free boards. And probably seems like a pretty small thing, but that was like huge to me. That was my whole life. I was like, I'm not gonna let them down. I'm gonna fucking represent. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna film dope parts. I was like all about it. And just having somebody support you like that This just like really took my skating ability to the next level. You can kind of see the talent evolution from this one to the previous one that we were reviewing. Like you can tell I was putting in the work, and the years of experience are starting to show here. The style is a little bit coming together. The steez, it's not fully there. It still looks like kind of a kid style skating. See, like that. Why don't I clean that up? I never clean things up. But thank you guys so much. Like, you guys are legends for that, and I'm really amazed by what you did building that whole business, and it's really inspirational and has been a net huge impact positive on Eugene and the Eugene skate scene. And it was just amazing to be a small part of that and help you get that off the ground. Just knowing that you wouldn't have to skate the same deck for like a million months all broken and chipped up, knowing that there was always going to be like a good deck waiting for you to skate on every time you needed it, like that just really made my skating take off. I was able to learn so fast just having proper equipment and having that motivation of being a part of a video. And we premiered this at the biggest lecture hall at U of O. It was a full-on advertised to the public. We had like a public premiere, and we packed that place. Like I think it seats like 300, and I think like 600 people were there standing in the aisles and all that stuff. And if skating wasn't already like cemented in my head as like something I wanted to be involved with forever by then, by the time I had this is the first time I ever had a premiere, like seeing myself on the big screen with like 500 people in a room, and people like losing their shit when you do a good trick. Like, I know skating's changed a lot. This stuff probably isn't that impressive at all today. Like, any kid can do these tricks, but like this is 20 however many years ago, 22 years ago. Skating has changed a lot. So like this was decent stuff for back then. And just that experience of, for the first time, seeing myself on the big screen and just like hearing all your friends, all your supporters, and just random college girls and people like screaming like, yeah, fuck yeah, that was awesome. Like, that feeling is crazy if you've never experienced it, and it like lights a fire inside of you of like validation. Like, you just feel validated because, you know, we would film this for a whole year before anybody sees any of this footage. There's no YouTube, no Instagram, no Facebook. So we're just out there grinding for like a year, and then you have a premiere where you get the payoff and everybody sees it and people go crazy. And that's a crazy feeling. You just feel so uplifted and validated, and makes you want to stay involved in skating forever. I think that rail's still there to this day. Who's got it? Let's see your front board on the carpet. Who's got it? Challenging you. But yeah, that's the story of this. Thanks to all these people, whoever filmed me and skated with me, came to the premiere, shopped at Tactics, Matt and Bob, everybody. Thanks, guys. And this is a crazy blast from the past. I can't believe it's already been 22 years. That is just crazy. I was not even 22 years old in this clip. So, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. Come back next time. We will jump into the next part. Peace out. Keep Nolly healing Cal Young Skate Park in Eugene. Bye.